Welcome to 12 Minutes or Less with the Author. I'm your host, T.L. Brown, but you can call me Tracy. Let's get started. Hey everyone! Today we have Jennifer Brasington-Crowley on the podcast. Jennifer is an author, illustrator, and Slytherin. She's a little obsessive about things like music and animals and can't help but sneak miniature biology lessons into all her books. Jennifer's the author of many contemporary fiction novels, including Raven Song, Bird Song, Hell's Bells, Still Waters, Cayman Island, one of my favorites, Nightingale, and Nightmare. She's also one of the creative forces behind Ghost Writer, a new novel written in collaboration with Brian Bateman about the blurred lines between good and evil and the living and the dead. Welcome back to the podcast, Jennifer. I'm so glad that you are joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me again, Tracy. This is so much fun. I'm so excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, let's get right to the interview. Tell us a little bit about your new book with Brian Bateman, Ghostwriter, which is scheduled to be released on March 17th.
Yes. Ghostwriter is scheduled to be released on St. Patrick's Day, and that's kind of a big part of the story here. This is my first foray into horror and haunted houses, and readers are going to get a good look inside of what's based on true events. So the story follows Ryan O'Connor, and he is a failed comedy writer. And Ryan and his family move to Fort Worth, Texas, and they move into a house that they think is the house of their dreams. But then strange things start happening in the house. And then when Ryan finds a very mysterious, unfinished manuscript in the attic, he thinks he's found his new calling. But the more he delves into the secrets of the street and his house, the more obsessed he becomes. And this obsession, he starts to wonder, is who has lived in this house before, what is happening to him, and he kind of spirals into a bit of madness. But the best part is most of the things that happen in this book are based on true events.
Oh, that sounds so creepy. But good creepy. And I've seen some of your social media like little teasers, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get my hands on this. Uh, so that's very exciting. Can you tell us more about the collaboration itself and the research that went into producing the story? What did you enjoy, and did you experience any challenges?
Yeah, so Brian and I worked together back in the 90s. That's how we met. And we hadn't really spoken to each other since. I mean, I saw he had a YouTube channel, and he, like Ryan O'Connor in the book, he is a comedy writer. And so he had a very funny YouTube channel. And so that's how I kind of kept up with him. But then flash forward to 2024, and he calls me out of the blue and says, "Hey, I've got an idea for a horror story, and I would like you to write this." Well, there were two big problems here. The first problem is Brian doesn't read. And the second problem is I'm scared to death of ghosts. So this was a dream team, right? I think I hung up on him after he told me what the idea was. And he was very persistent. And he was like, come on, come on, come on. I would love to do this. You're the person I really want to do this. And so that was a big hurdle right there, was getting me comfortable enough with the subject matter. And he had already done so much research into his house. He has a book on his coffee table of every resident who's lived in his house, with their
Wow.
occupations, their dates of birth, their dates of death, their children. I mean, it's like a whole ledger of everyone who's stepped foot in this house. So
Holy.
he basically did all the research for me. And what he had like a outline sort of a story. What he said, he had ideas of jump scares that he wanted to incorporate, plus real things that had happened in his house, plus the real things that had happened on the street. So he sent me a whole stack of articles for me to read and said, I want you to make this some sort of cohesive story.
Oh my goodness.
it
That's
was
amazing though.
it was such a challenge. It really drew me out of anything that I've ever worked on. I mean, I think this was the most challenging project I've ever worked on in my life. Plus, after having read so many of my books before, that almost all of my books they're all head books, right? I mean, everything happens, it's all emotions and things. And this book is so action packed that, again, it was just like a 180 from what I've ever done before.
Oh, but that's I can still see it though, and your books are very emotional, very cerebral, 100%, which is one of the reasons why I love them so much. But being afraid and the subject matter is pretty emotional. So I could see you transferring that into the action and the rest of the plot line and the storyline. I haven't read it yet. I can't wait to read it. It's on my in March, this book is coming out and get this book list. So,
Oh, great.
but
I
tell
hope you're
me,
scared.
oh, I do too. I love it. I love jump scares and the fun that comes with that. So let's talk though about the future. Do you have a new writing project in the works after this? What can your fans like me look forward to reading from you?
Well, you know what? Ghostwriter came at the perfect time because my creative well had been dried up ever since I released Nightmare. And I was struggling so hard with coming up with any other project. And so Ghostwriter came in at the perfect time. And now that I've gotten that out of my system, I'm ready to go back to what I enjoy best, which is writing about emotions. And I have another story idea that's kind of in the works. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to write this because the number one hurdle I have to overcome is one of the main characters is mute. And
Oh,
as you know, I rely so heavily on banter in
yeah,
my books and
yeah.
so heavy on dialogue to move the story along. So I really don't know how I'm going to do this.
Well, if anybody can do it, I know you can. I know you can. Jennifer, we are at the end. Believe it or not, it goes by so fast. We're at the end of our interview. Really quickly though, before I say thank you, show everybody your shirt. I'm sorry. I gotta show people.
Yes,
Look at this. Look
yes,
at
look at
Raven and
this.
Stanzi and Cayman and Jay.
Yes, thanks to Joanna Monahan for making this for me. This is all of the main characters from my Raven Song series and my Stillwater series.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And those series, I love them as well. Thank you for being on the podcast today. I'm so glad that you were here.
Thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun to catch up again.
Excellent. Everyone, Jennifer's books are on Amazon. I will have that link below so you can go straight to her profile on Amazon. And remember, Ghostwriter is coming out in March on St. Patrick's Day. You want to make plans to read this because I'm telling you, if anybody can tell a story, it's Jennifer. Also, find Jennifer on Instagram, Brasington Books. Follow her. She posts excellent stuff and funny stuff. She's just, I love her. She's just awesome. Also, her website, give her a visit at sunnyvillezoo.com. Definitely make sure you are following her on Amazon, follow her on Instagram, buy her books. You will not be disappointed. I'm fangirling, so I'm going to stop now. Everyone, thank you so much, Jennifer. Thank you. And I will see you the next time. Bye. This has been 12 Minutes or Less with the author. Thanks for listening to today's episode. Hope you can join me for the next one. Until then, this is Tracy, aka Author T.L. Brown, signing off.